I've arrived here in Graz now, which is southeast Austria, and there's a completely different feeling about the place here, and I think that's the sense that we're suddenly in Eastern Europe now, or starting to be, and the whole place just feels so different. People are different, and it smells different, and the look of the buildings and the shops are all different, and I think it's that Eastern European feeling, but I'll see how that goes and as I go further east. Unfortunately, I missed a train this morning. Well, it wasn't really made clear, and I don't speak Hungarian, so I didn't realise I had to change. But I caught one not too much later, but this one seems to have been extremely delayed. I've stopped 3 times now. I've been stopped for nearly an hour now. I was supposed to be in Budapest at about 4 o'clock, just before. It's now gone 7, and we've been stopped here probably for a good hour or so. It's starting to get dark. I think I'm on the right train, but I'm not really sure. Can't speak enough of the lingo to check, so getting slightly concerned. And I think if I am on the right train, I'm probably another good hour away from Budapest. But there's a general look of concern amongst everyone else on the train, so I'm presuming that it is just a problem with the track on the lines, and this isn't normal, so fingers crossed we get moving before long. Turns out there's been some major engineering work going on, and that's the reason for us being delayed. They're replacing one of the tracks completely, so there's only a single track open for quite a distance, and we had to wait our turn, but bloody hell, we can put up with that in the UK. I've arrived in Romania now, and I'm in one of its main cities, Brașov. I'm looking down at the view at the moment, up from where they have a big sign, Hollywood style, with the town name on the side of the cliff. It's a very beautiful area, but to be honest, Romania's been my biggest culture shock yet. Certainly coming through the countryside on the train, it's notable that poverty is quite extensive, and lots of people are still using horse and carts, although they're sort of bodged together with bits of cars, and it's very interesting to see, and the methods of agriculture are more often than not very old-fashioned. And I think you still see a really odd mix of westernised things like mobile phones and televisions which are being used, and then there's these really old cars that everyone's driving around in. The decor of the streets and houses isn't that good, and things are looking a little grubby and tatty. And then you have people who obviously have a lot more money and driving around very smart cars, so there seems to be a much bigger gap of wealth here. But it's a very interesting place, so I'm going to move on down to Bulgaria tonight. The trains in Eastern Europe seem to be far less reliable and are taking much longer, so I'm going to do some overnight trains now to try and catch up. Although those will take quite a long time, it'll mean I can get to my destination and not have to pay for accommodation overnight. Well, Romania just seems to get better and better. I was hoping to make the overnight train tonight to head into Bulgaria, but as seems to be the way, my train was 2 hours late coming from the centre of Romania, Brașov, and so I arrived in Bucharest, and I'd missed my train. So I thought I'll have to try and find somewhere to stay. I opened my guidebook, it says avoid this city if at all possible. Taxis are a nightmare, and there's hundreds of thousands of stray dogs with rabies. So I found a couple of places that might be alright to stay in the guidebook. One was quite near the station. Started walking down there. Taxi driver approached me, said, "I'll take you to hostel, very good deal, 25 euros, whatever." I said, "No thank you, I'm fine." Anyway, headed off down the road, but started to get a little bit lost because I couldn't find the street where this other place was on that I was going to head to. And then this chap came up behind me and said in a very quiet voice, "Excuse me sir, are you lost?" And I was like, No, not really, just trying to find this place." He says, "Oh yeah, I know where that is, it's just up round the road, blah 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 blah." And he pretty much listed off everything it said in the guidebook, which I thought was, you know, he obviously knew the place. She said, yeah, no problem, I'll show you. So I thought, sounds a bit dodgy, but I thought, well, carried on, nothing to lose perhaps. And anyway, we went down some streets and I knew that we were going in roughly the right direction and it seemed sensible. And then I could see the street name where this place was, and we were just chatting away and seemed like a nice enough chap. And then he said, so how much do you think my services are worth? I was like, you what? Yeah, you're going to give me any money for showing you the way? But he hadn't actually shown me to the door of this place, although there was a street there, but it's quite a long street, so I wasn't to know. But I said, no, I said it was very good of him, but I didn't think it was worth me paying him, because he should have been upfront with it if he was expecting any money to show me where I was going. And then he started getting a bit snooty and was sort of starting to make threats, and so I thought I would better start moving towards the street, because there's no one around at this time. It's dark, the street lamps are a bit hit and miss, and fortunately I found I could see the door for this place, start ringing on the bell, and he's shouting at me, oh, you know, don't take honesty for granted anymore, blah 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 blah, I'll be watching you, and I'm just ringing on this doorbell, let me in, and there's no answer, and eventually someone thankfully comes to the door. But I'm in this place now, and it's a bit of an interesting place, all of nooks and crannies and hidden doorways, and so I've got no phone signal, no internet. I can't even tell you when I'm here, so if you see this message, it might be my last. So yeah, I love you all.
I said I wanted to take a look at the effects of climate change on my trip, and I think it's happening sooner than I expected. I'm just in Bulgaria now, and I'm going to try and get to Istanbul to finish my European leg, but there's been major flooding in Turkey, and it's meant that the railway tracks have been washed away, so the Balkan Express, which I was going to take, has been cancelled for the next month. So I'm now going to find some other way of getting to Istanbul by some other means, so I'm not quite sure what this will be yet. Going to have a look into buses and taxi, whatever, a minibus, God knows, and see what I can sort out and hopefully get there.